right, so this is the final video on flowing tips, and we are going to talk about tip 7. This tip is going to sound crazy. It's really difficult at first, but the more you practice it, the easier it's going to get. Now, this tip is intended to cut down what you write by 50% approximately. So, everything that you're writing, this is going to mean that you're writing only half as much because you are not going to use any vowels. Tip 7 is no vowels. So words are made usually about 50% up of vowels. And so by cutting those out, you're cutting out the vowels. Now, our brain is really smart, and usually it can take a word that doesn't have vowels and piece it together and still understand the meaning behind the word. Usually that means we need the original first letter and last letter. So if a word starts with A, you're probably going to include that vowel, or else we would not understand what the word means. So if the word is about, if I wrote about just starting with a B, my brain's not going to understand that. But my goal is to cut out as many vowels as possible. Now, there are some words like that have a lot of vowels, like banana. If I try to write banana without vowels, it's just going to say B N N N N N, and that's not going to make sense in my brain. So that word I would definitely need some vowels. But overall, the goal is to not write the vowels as much as possible. So let me give you an example. And I might be using some of the other tips as well. So the example is, I love the United States of America. That's our sentence. Now, flowing version, I would write this. I heart, there's my symbol, United. The only vowel I have is at the first of the sentence. States, America. I have two letters, two vowels, because America starts and ends. Without those MRC, I would not understand that means America. But I heart United States America makes the same sense in my brain as I love the United States of America. Because I don't need the, I don't need the of, and overall, I was able to eliminate almost all of the vowels there. Your brain can still understand it. Here's another example. My sister lives in my house with my rabbit. So I write, sister, I don't really need it's pretty implied, lives. Now this one I use a lot, so I understand it, but this might be a word from the start that you might need to put like an I in there. In, I needed that in for context, so I wrote that in, even though it's unimportant. In house, I skipped the E, but I felt like the O and the U were necessary. With, a W and a slash, I know means with, rabbit, RBBT. Sister lives in house with rabbit. My sister lives in my house with my rabbit. I cut out all of those my's. I cut out a bunch of vowels, a bunch of symbols. Now, this is a tip, just like all caps, that you're going to want to practice on its own a bunch. But once you get the hang of it, it's going to cut down your flowing in half. And so you're less likely to fall behind. You're less likely to miss stuff that your opponents say. So those are all of the flowing tips. The more you practice flowing, the easier these tips will get. Now, if you only are flowing when we do flowing in class, this is going to be a really hard skill to conquer, to get good at. Now, if you can, though, go and watch debate rounds at home and practice flowing them. If you can go and watch TED Talks and practice flowing them. When your family's watching the news, practice flowing it. Or you're listening to a podcast, practice flowing it. The more you can practice flowing, the easier it's going to get. Now, I like to flow in my classes because I find that a lot of times I might fall behind if I'm trying to write regularly. Or if you've been in a class where somebody's like, can you go to the last slide, please? I'm not done writing it down. Flowing should help you to not have to do that. So I like to flow. It also means my hand gets tired less and I can be more involved in what my teacher has to say and understand it better instead of just writing. Okay, so you're going to go and practice that tip, and then we're going to talk about how to flow a debate case. So good luck. Let me know if you have any questions, and happy flowing.